I mean, speaking of drugs, I went to a couple weekends ago. There was a mushroom festival here, mountain mushroom festival, and I was like, oh, cool. So like like mushrooms for cooking and whatever. And there was a lot. No, there was a lot of that, but there was a whole like quarter of this mushroom festival that was like harm reduction and drug survivor stories and what not to eat to get like that'll give you a bad trip. No, I think there was a tiny amount of that, but not that wasn't the focus. Yeah. Oh, hey, your audio's not coming in. Why is your audio not coming in? Nope, that's not the right one. Default.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh no, it's working. Working now. Okay, cool.
okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
So just today, a new season of The Devil's Plan dropped. I'm like, yes! So I started watching the first episode, and I'm about, I would say conservatively about 45 minutes in, and they haven't even played the first game yet. I love, I love this game. It's that Korean reality show, game show where they play a bunch of board games, and
Oh.
yeah. And I love like their first game that they're playing, like the rules are being explained and everyone's just like, I don't fucking understand this at all. It's like it's so great. It's so and actually I get it because I've played a similar game. So the first game that they're playing is basically um it's called so Fury of Dracula is one version of the game, and then I forget the other one. But you're like you're cops in London, and you have to like find one of the players is a thief, and you have
Ow.
to like find them. Yeah,
Shit. Ow. Sorry.
what'd you do? Yeah, that's
I
fine.
tried to scoop my chair and it fucking banged my leg against it. Hurt myself
Yeah.
I hurt myself trying to move a chair because I'm fucking 40.
Hey, at least remember Dustin Penner of the Los Angeles Kings. He missed a game because he threw his back out eating delicious pancakes.
There we go. Good. I don't
Yeah,
feel as bad. I'm not a professional athlete, so.
yeah. Just a professional asshole.
Oh, there you go. That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Devil's Plan. There was one
Yeah.
other thing. So I love the fact that like Korea is a big, like a whole lot of people, but it's actually like geographically speaking, it's kind of small. And so, like, imagine if just Northern California was its own country, and so but had like I don't know a lot more people in it, and like that's hella cool because that means that like your weatherman is famous throughout the country because of the size of the country. And so like they'll have these people come on and it's like, oh, I know you, you're the newsreader. That kind of thing. It'd be like if Dr. Dean Adele was a world famous or world famous was like famous nationally and he's on this game. And then also like they have one actor from a couple of Netflix shows. I forget his Justin Min, I think is his name. He was the dead brother in Umbrella Academy, and apparently he was in Beef, but I didn't watch Beef. But like English is his main language, and he's speaking Korean to all of them because he can't speak it or whatever. But it's really funny in like his little confessional. Where, like whenever he does his confessionals, he'll be saying it and then just slip a couple words of English in there because he's like, I don't know the word for something, or like literally he didn't know the word for something. He's like, well, it's kind of hard to speak Korean, something Korean. It's just really funny, and it's just I love the idea that they have a player who.
Thank you for taking a second to not sound racist.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to. Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know. I know Anyang, and I really only know that because
Arrested
like
Development.
There's 14. Well, Arrested Development, but also there's 14 players, and every time one of them comes in to the room, like at the to, like introduce themselves when they start the game, everyone stands up and goes "Annyeong sumeyo" or something along those lines. It's like it's so yeah, it's so nice. They're I don't know. It's interesting, and like one of them looks like a hell of a jock, but like he's like our age. Actually, one of them is actually my age. He's 42, and he has a board gaming YouTube channel. And then
Hey, that's
there's
cool.
two of them that are like pop stars. So I think I've heard of the band Super Junior. But like I don't know any of the members. But like one of them is a member of Super Junior, and another one is a YouTuber named Chuu.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's funny as hell that they have like these giant like pop stars and everything on it. Because I remember like last season, they had a player who was like a member of like 17, I think it's the name of that band or whatever. And like there were a couple people and they came in, there's like, oh my god, it's someone. Oh my god. He's like, yeah, it's me. It's so funny. I like it. I like it. Anyway, it's a great show.
Man, the Korean YouTube with a board game, it makes me think like I'm always jealous of these people who have YouTube channels and podcasts that are wildly popular in a space that's crowded in English because they're speaking it in another like oh it's a French language gaming podcast. Like okay, there's probably like a few of those, but like how many fucking gaming podcasts are there where everybody's just speaking fucking English, right? Part of me
Yeah,
was like,
10 million.
yeah, part of me was to learn like Vietnamese, so we can be the Vietnamese language gaming podcast or whatever, and like one of 8.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like well, we know how the barrier to entry of of podcasting is so low. But like here in America, where nobody has any fucking money anytime, they're like, let's you know what? Let's start a podcast as a side hustle, and we'll make a bunch of money. It seems really easy. And you know, I mean, we're rolling in those Squarespace dollars.
Fuck yeah.
What did you? Yeah, what are you guys doing with your Amazon money that you got when you got bought by
my
Amazon?
Patreon bucks.
Yeah, your Patreons. Yeah.
Spending it all on other creators.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Also,
oh my
you know,
God.
I'm the one who pays for the hosting, and that's not actually that cheap.
Yeah, no, yeah. And pays for Oooshow.com and everything.
Yeah, instead of Out Wit Out Play Out Cast, they still
Yeah,
fucking.
you let
It's not covered in Chinese ads anymore, but it still is like, hey, if you want this domain, you should pay for it.
Did you ever ask how much they want?
If I click on the link, or if I go down that rabbit hole, it wants me to email them, and it is the spammiest looking email address.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say don't
I
click
ain't
that
going
link.
near it. Yeah,
It's got all kinds of viruses in there, so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't recommend doing that.
I'd be curious what they think it's worth, but not my own malware safety.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, so before we start, I'm sure we're recording, but before we actually get started, what did David do, and did you take your point for him?
Did you listen? All you had to do was listen
No,
to
of
the
course
episode.
I didn't listen.
Brian, did you listen to Nick's episode?
Of course not.
Yeah, see?
All right, fine. Well, Nick, I'm gonna push for Nick to get some points on the heel turn this episode. David came out after you get voted out, your social media block gets lifted. You can post on social media. One of the first things David posted was that his girlfriend broke up with him when she found out that he lost Survivor, right? Because that was his story all along. Except his girlfriend was like, "No, I dumped him before he left."
No.
And so there's a bunch of drama going on now about David and his girlfriend and who dumped who at what time, and it's just like not relevant because he's dating the like first out of season 42 or something. He's dating another Survivor person already. It's just like, why you gotta do that, David? Why you gotta?
Yeah, that works. Okay, yeah, you get your point for that.
All right,
Then
I'll take that. I don't even know if I
that's
added those points though. I don't need them.
Yeah, no, I know, but the more important thing is you don't get the point next season unless he does a fresh, new, terrible thing. You know, that was the thing. So they can't post on any social media at all until they're voted out.
Correct.
Interesting. Because I remember Marianne posting stuff. Oh wait, no, never mind. So I was gonna say I remember Marianne posting something like when those two like nerds from the season afterwards were like I just closed my blinds. Anyway, when those two nerds from season whatever the season afterwards, like they got back to the Ponderosa together and like they were gonna be doing it, and like Marianne posted like some sort of joke about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the woman whose name I forget was just like, Marianne! I mean, you're not wrong. Something along those lines. But yeah, now that I think about it, that's because that player was eliminated. So okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
Oh
cool, cool,
man,
cool,
it was
cool.
Matt and Franny. Matt and Franny.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Good for them.
I wonder whatever happened to them. Let's see. Matt and Franny Survivor.
I wonder what happened
But,
to them, but I don't want to know. Don't tell me. It's their life. They deserve privacy. Sorry, what's up? You were gonna say something, Brian?
but what is it? Why does it get lifted after they get voted out? Shouldn't it be like not until the show's over? Because they can still spoil shit. You know,
No, so
that's weird
well, no,
that
that's
you
the
have
thing
to
is
wait until you're voted out on TV. Like,
there's multiple levels of what they are and are not allowed to do at what given time, and they are never allowed to say who won before that episode airs.
well, obviously,
Right? So
Yeah.
like,
but
Oh, but like, so if I say I'm on Survivor season 49 and it's airing right now, I can post like if I eat a really good pizza, I could take a photo of the pizza and post it on Instagram and go yum yum pepperoni yum.
yeah,
That would
and
be allowed.
you can interact with other contestants who have already been voted out, and you can talk about things that have already aired, but you cannot talk about anything that has not aired.
Oh
And,
yeah, no, that just seems like
even
common
in any
sense.
kind of vague way. So if you were like, after this tribal as a juror, I was XYZ, like, no. Because that could potentially spoil what you
Right,
would
right,
do.
right.
You know, exactly.
But what the hell does them airing you getting voted out have to do with you saying shit online? Like, why are you allowed to talk after that? Like, before the show's over?
Because
Well, I
then
think-
It doesn't make any sense.
because there's a whole social sphere of the gossip around players on Survivor and all that kind of bullshit. Like, we just had a whole segment right now talking about David's Twitter post or whatever the fuck. I don't even know if it was Twitter. But like, we just had a whole
I
conversation
understand that,
about
but why would us having a conversation about that before he got voted out make any difference? I mean, besides because the content was about him being voted out. But
It just drives more engagement for the show. That's literally
Yeah.
all it is.
And also, Brian, like it's not like they can post nothing whatsoever. They just can't really like. It's
well,
just
yeah, I mean, I'm
easier-
sure they mean about the game. I'm sure, yeah. Like if it has nothing
Yeah.
to do with Survivor whatsoever, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, and you could
Right.
and like if the episode is airing, I'm sure they encourage you to say like, "Oh my god, I didn't know that," or whatever, something like that. You know what I mean? But like, you can't say, "Oh, now this makes this." Oh, now I understand what happened 3 days later, or whatever. It's like, yeah, I get it. I'm sure it's actually not that onerous a thing at all. I just thought when you said social media block got lifted, I thought you meant like, oh yeah, no, he can't say anything until he's voted out. But you can say like yum yum pizza yum, or
I don't know if
I'm
I
gonna
can.
sit down and watch. I'm gonna sit down and watch this episode of Survivor because, like, I know originally, like the very first season, was airing more or less in real time, and so not in real time, but like people noticed when players came back. So like people knew the second person voted out because they noticed that he was back
Yeah.
early or something like that. So yeah. So I'm sure they do things along those lines. And now I know now, like if you're voted out first, it's like, all right, well, enjoy this Fijian resort for the next 20 days. Oh man, that would be great.
You sure you don't want to know about Matt and Franny?
I'm sure just because it's like they're not public. Are they public? Are they, you know what I mean, public people in the sense that like they're living their life online, or are they just normal people? Because if they're just normal people, I don't want to know and I don't care.
They're just normal people, but they have public social media accounts. Matt doesn't
Yeah,
post. Matt doesn't post a lot, but Franny does. Just like relationships. Somebody's more into social media than the other. Matt just
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
seem to
fine.
get into social media. Franny does.
I don't really want to know because it's like, look, I really do feel like I promise we will talk about this episode of Survivor very soon. Hi, welcome to Outwit Outplay Outcast, Survivor podcast on the Night Living Geeks Network. We're here to talk about season 48, episode 12, episode 12, Icarus moment. Okay, so there's all that. I'm Nick. That was the person who just went, oh, that's
Oh.
Andy, and then the person who speaks every now and again is Brian. No, so like in my general thing is I feel like we know like social media is great. Yeah, I think it's being used horribly, but that's also because it's brand new. People don't realize or like don't really seem to remember that 15 years ago it just didn't really exist. Okay, that's not true. I'm getting like, you know how it is where all time is relative. I think 15 years ago, I'm like, yeah, that was like 2003, right? No, that wasn't 2003. But you know what I mean? There was
MySpace was about like 2005 to 2010,
yeah,
somewhere
there
in
was
there.
like MySpace, and then these
Yeah.
other ones come around. But
Yeah,
like,
when the show started, it really didn't exist.
yeah, exactly. It really didn't exist. And the thing of it is, like, human beings, we just don't need to know everything that there is to know about everyone at all times. Like, it's great. Social media is great for keeping up with what my friends are doing, what my family is doing, for posting wedding photos, for things like that and whatever. But, like, I don't need to know what just some random schmo in Chicago is doing unless, like I know there's like some random lady in Portland, Portland, Oregon, that I follow because she watched wrestling and I watched wrestling at a certain time, and we would make jokes, and the other one would like each other's jokes or whatever. It's
That's
not
cute.
like knowing what's going on in her life, because I think, like, if we ever met in real life, we would probably hang out and be friends. But like, I just don't need to know, like, the person three doors down, what their relationship status is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's honestly, it's not something about Survivor I'm generally ever into. When I watch the show, I recognize that I'm getting a caricature of these human beings through the editing, right? So that's why whenever I talk about people on Survivor, I know they're real people with real lives, but I call them characters because
Oh no, same here.
the way we interpret the way we interact with these people through the show, like, it's not the full picture of who they are as human beings. So like, when we shit on Joe, I don't shit on him as a human being. I'm shitting on his
Yeah,
character
I do.
portrayal.
yeah, like
Okay,
Piece
fine.
of shit.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
yeah, that's been well trodden
You can
ground.
do that.
Yeah,
you
but,
you can do that, Brian. Go ahead.
it's funny because I was telling someone about this season of Survivor, and I kept referring to them as characters, and they're like, so, oh, they don't get real people, and they're like, no, they are. It's just like, they're not. Look, it's situational. You know what I mean? It's like, they're not real people. I mean, yeah, they are. It's weird, and we all know how it works. So,
Yeah, they're there
anyway,
24 hours for 30 days, and
yeah.
we see what, 18 hours worth of that time.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's highly contextualized because it's within the confines of a game with a goal. Like, I mean, the work you is different from home you is different from hanging out with friends you, and it's like they are basically in one mode for that entire time, and so it's like we don't really see them, because also, even if all three of us worked at the same job together, we wouldn't be trying to get I would be trying to get Brian fired, and he would be trying to get both of us fired. But that's just because that's just who we are, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but we wouldn't really be trying to get people fired so that we could have a higher rank or anything like that. So it's not the same thing. We just go in. I would put my headphones in, or earbud, and listen to my podcast and ignore everyone while I do stare at my computer and do work for the day. And then at 9:30, go on my break. 11:30, go on my lunch. 2 o'clock, go on my next break. Go on like 5 or 6 bathroom breaks, because that's what happens when you get older. I used to have a bladder the size of a small swimming pool, and now I'm like, no, I gotta, yeah.
Man,
So-
coffee. I'm telling you.
It's not. We're talking about the size of our old man bladders. Let's transition back to Survivor.
Here's the thing, it's funny because in Survivor, again, like, coffee used to be a reward, and I was just like, if I want coffee, I'd be like, yeah, I don't care. I don't like coffee. It's gross.
Also, I feel like coffee is not a good idea when you haven't had caffeine of any kind or stimulants of any kind for like weeks.
Yeah. Now you give me a tea, and I'll be there all day. Any time. I mean, I like fancy tea. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm not too proud. I take like 2 to 3 packs of 2 to 3 bags rather of like that cheap shitty Lipton stuff that you see in that. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. Whatever. It's a hot bev. I like it. Anyway, someone do the reading. Someone now will do the reading that will summarize the episode happening. Actually, wait, sorry, before we do that, because Andy, you listened to mine. I did really well all by myself.
You did pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm gonna read the.
You're very humble too.
I'm gonna read the intro because I might not be here next week, so it'll be Brian.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And he's going to be out of the country. So what we might do, just so everyone knows, we might do like a short thing, just Brian and I, and then like do a real like main episode, whatever, like talk about the season as a whole when Andy gets back. We might.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, go on. Read the thing.
Mitch is celebrating coming in sixth and says that now is finally the time to make a move. Kyle is still on the fence. Fully on the fence, but unfortunately simply full of self-delusion, is Shaheen, who thinks he's actually playing a better game than Joe. Lol. Raffle lol even. Just friggin' lol. He's right about challenges being all arm strength, though, and getaway sticks like his what? With getaway sticks like his, the lack of leg challenges must be frustrating. Okay.
Yeah, you ever heard people call legs getaway sticks?
I have had a whiskey, but I am not here for witty writing.
No. Shut up. All right, go on.
I like witty writing, but my tongue will not do it after the third whiskey I've had. His frustrations are rewarded at the reward challenge. He panders to the soon-to-be jurors and selects Joe and Kyle to join him for hamburger sandwiches and letters from home. Hamburger sandwich? Oh, hamburger. Okay. Yeah. The letters are very maudlin, so let's just say it's nice to see men opening up and being vulnerable with one another and fast forward. Because outwit, outplay, outcast, rule number 1, no bummers. Well, people left on the beach kvetch and about Shaheen and Joe God. Maybe I should have had Brian do this. Well, people left on the beach kvetch about Shaheen giving Joe the win. Shaheen and Kyle strategize and disagree because Shaheen wants to get rid of Eva and Kyle wants Joe. So Kyle sets up a false flag operation with Camilla to throw Shaheen to the wolves and make themselves look good in the process. Joe blazes through the immunity challenge. Oh, I see what you did there because he's a firefighter, leaving Eva and Shaheen vulnerable if everyone can get their acts together.
Including it.
Yeah, Jesus. Operation Just Lie, silly, goes into action with Joe being skeptical of Kyle's initial lie before fast acting with Camilla. It appears to work as Joe goes fact checking. Fuck, man.
God damn it.
You had a good one. I just cannot deliver. It appears to work as Joe goes dad mode on Shaheen, but Shaheen feels far more rattled by the interaction. Mitch is on board. Eva believes the idol story, but they're frankly non-entities at this point, and all we have to look forward to is if Joe takes the bait or not. There's some fancy editing while Kyle and Shaheen give relatively similar speeches about paranoia in which Joe is weighing who he trusts more, but we're treated to several different spellings of Shaheen, and he's gone. Joe fell for it.
Yeah. So this episode was, in my opinion, was much more interesting in the finale than the last one and I didn't feel cheated. Like, we actually saw Joe, say, I don't know who to trust. I don't know which one's telling the truth, da-da-da-da-da. And so, even though it was more or less unanimous, because, 2 people voted for Mitch, not all 5, whatever. There was still drama. It really was who is he going to trust? So even though it was kind of the same landslide vote, I felt this one was portrayed much better.
Wasn't it?
Well, Camilla voted for Mitch, so they didn't know she was in on it.
Yeah.
God, that's genius. I didn't see who voted for whom. I just assumed. Wow, that is really good. That's a whole other level.
Yeah, Camilla's playing this game really well. So it's
I can't be the only one upset that the name of the episode wasn't whatever the hell Shaheen was saying about his legs.
Yeah.
Who
said Icarus moment? I didn't hear it at all. Shaheen did. Okay. Yeah. Shaheen, I have enjoyed him when he is on the screen, but I've realized he's played a pretty poor game because how familiar are you guys with Pokemon? Do you know who Metapod is?
Yup.
No.
Okay. So Brian and listeners who are, I assume, older than us or whatever. Anyway, Metapod is a Pokemon that has almost no attacking power. It's just does 1 damage at a time. But it has an ability called Harden. And when it uses Harden, it receives almost no damage. So it's really hard to beat this thing. But also, it never really does anything other than Harden. So you're gonna beat it. It's just a real waste of your time to actually do it. And that's the thing, is Shaheen's entire game has been every episode harden, harden. I'm preparing for the next tribal council, and I'm going to prepare for the next one. Harden, harden. And he's just been preparing for 11 episodes in a row, and finally he's going to make his move, and it fucking sucks. Like he was like, oh, let's just go for Mitch, which was the plan anyway. Because he didn't if he at least was like, all right, let's go for Eva or something, like because he wanted to take out Joe and kneecap him or whatever, but he's just like harden next episode. It's like I bet you he's gonna harden again.
I mean, Shaheen did. He wanted to do Eva this episode.
Yeah, and then he didn't. And I
think
kind of get why. Like, she is in a very interesting GOAT position where it's like she could be brought to the end and she doesn't stand a chance of winning.
Yeah.
And if you put her on the thing, then she's just going to vote for Joe. And it's so obvious. It's kind of like, well, maybe you take her to the end just because she's not going to get any votes. And so then it is just you and Joe. And maybe it'll work. But it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't, yeah.
Shaheen's reason for not wanting her on the jury is stupid. Like, she's gonna talk up Joe to everybody. If you have been paying attention at all to the jury's reaction when you vote people out, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very bitter jury, and they don't really want to. I get the feeling they don't want to vote for Joe. So long as I think if you can do a final tribal with any excuse to vote for somebody other than Joe, I think they're going to take it.
Yeah, I think. Well, Kyle and Camilla have done literally the first move of the entire game.
Yeah.
No, they broke up the California girls early on, right? So if you get Shaheen and Joe on the jury and you bring that up, they'll verify that for him.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, I say, and I know you're going to be mad at this, Brian, I know, but I would say that Joe has been in control this entire game, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
What?
You're right. He should not.
I know he has. That's the problem.
But that's why it's like, so he, by default, that means he's been making moves this entire time. If he says, let's vote this person out, and people go, yeah, all right, we're going to vote that person out, and he's the one everyone's playing around, he's been making moves by default. Now, they're not like super amazing.
I mean, that's not. I'm in charge and we're voting out somebody who's not in our alliance is not a move. It's just something they have to do.
It is so. I made an illusion in the episode, the previous one, and I don't blame anyone for not listening to it. Don't worry about it. I was joking. I made an illusion to a board game it's actually called Android, and like there's like this whole little mini game in it where you can determine what there's default scoring, and then you play this little mini game while you're doing it, and that's going to determine like these green pieces that are usually worth 1 point are worth 5. These red pieces that are usually worth 3, you're going to make them worth 1, that sort of thing, right? And so what Joe has been doing this entire time, essentially, is determining what the scoring is going to look like at the end of the game. He has been saying, like, oh, we're going to go for strong people, and we're going to put people of character towards the end, like bring people of character and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. He has been determining what the scoring is going to be so that it suits him as best as possible. Whether he's doing that on 100% consciously or if he's doing it kind of subconsciously, I don't really know. But that is the way it is. He is determined. We want people that are going to vote, people on the jury who are going to vote based off of, I think this person is a good person, I'm going to give them that money.
I think,
but that's not who's on the jury.
I think what's going to happen is you get to the end, and if Kyle or Camilla are in the final tribal, either one of them, they're going to say, like, look, there's the game of Survivor that you all thought you were playing with Joe, but we were playing a game of Survivor within that game of Survivor where we were pointing Joe and pointing this alliance where we wanted it to go, and made them think it was their own idea. And we talked before, I don't remember what episode it was, where Shaheen was like telling people, like, he was telling in confessional, like, my game plan is to drop a bunch of seeds and make people think it was their own idea. And we were saying how hard it is to take credit for that at the end. But it's easy if you're at the end and you did it with somebody else. Because then they can corroborate, right? If Camilla's like, our game plan the entire time was to make Joe think this was his idea, like to make Joe think or whatever, like choosing to take out David was his own idea or whatever, like, but we planted that and worked it and they corroborate it. That makes that a really compelling story for the jury to be like, look, you all were worried about Joe. That's great. We wanted you to look at Joe and be worried about Joe. Like, we kept his shield big and strong all the way until the very end. And now we're done with him because it's final tribal.
Yeah, but that really only works if one of them is on the jury,
Yeah,
too.
one of them has to make it. If it's like Joe, Eva, and Mitch, just give it to Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The other two have done literally nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Mitch, he's been kind of a bad position, but he also has just been kind of like, I don't want to make a move. I don't want to risk anything. Like, Shaheen, like, Kyle has changed his mind a couple of times, and that's frustrating. Not my issue. I like Camilla a lot. The reason I'm skeptical of her winning is I think she says that stuff, and then people are like, yeah, that's easy to say. Where's the receipts? And, like, Kyle can really only get like Kyle has to be on the jury, and in order for that to work. And the thing is, I think that if Kyle is in the final three and Camilla is on the jury, even if she says, tries to talk him up, I don't think people will give him votes as much. Or if they do, it'll be like, well, I got to vote for someone. So I don't know. I think that Camilla can do what Kyle can't.
I don't know, but I think you're right. Camilla needs to be there and Kyle needs to not.
Yeah.
Which is apparently what she says to him next episode.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't say it like that, but she says only one of us can be there.
Yeah, but like, we all know that those are
Yeah, I know. But I mean, she's not wrong. That's really how that went down.
And really, like, that's the thing that it always amazes me that people haven't learned this or don't acknowledge it, where it's like, you have an ally, great, you want your ally on the jury because your ally is going to be voting for you. You just don't want to be the one, you don't want to betray them. So like, David on the jury would be great for Joe, except that David blames Joe for what happened, and partly because he did it. But whatever. But that's the thing.
But it is now very likely those two will be making fire. So
yeah, that would be a good way of solving it too. Who do you think the ideal final four would be?
Like, what I would want to see, or
not,
to guarantee a win
Joe.
for somebody?
Sorry, that was a lot of people talking over. What I was going to say is who should be voted out next, and then who should have it, like, who should be doing the rest?
As in, what would make a good episode, or who do I think would have the easiest road to a win?
I would say whatever criteria you want, because my criteria will be, this is what I want to actually watch.
I mean, I want Camilla and Kyle both in Final Tribal trying to fight over who earned what, and then have the third person be Joe. I think that would make for the best television.
I don't know, because I don't think Camilla and Kyle can separate their game, other than Kyle can be like, but I've also won challenges.
Yeah. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a Final Tribal where Kyle and Camilla finally come out to the world as the number one duo they are, and then have to argue their case as part of this duo against each other. And I want the third person to be Joe. Because I know the jury doesn't like, or maybe doesn't want to vote for Joe. Like, we know Chrissy and Mary don't respect the way Joe has played. They're like, that's not the way we came to play Survivor, right? And if you were going to do all this loyalty bullshit, why is David here and why is Shaheen here, right? So, like, I that's the interplay I want to see at Final Tribal. Because then Joe can also be like, fuck these two. They thought they were being all fucking smart and shit. I'm here anyway. Fuck them. Right? Like, I think that'd make for the best television, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah. So here's the thing, because you mentioned Chrissy. I think that she could be persuaded to vote for Joe because she's been out for as long as she has. And the thing is, like you said, we didn't come here to play that game of Survivor. And he's like, yeah, well, I forced you to play that game of Survivor because I was a better Survivor player than you.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
that's the thing.
course you wanted orange pieces to be worth 5 points, and I set up the game so that they would be worth nothing, and now you have no points at all whatsoever. It's like, yeah, of course that's what you wanted. You wanted to play the game your way. But a good player dictates the pace of play,
Right.
and that was me.
I agree with that, but I don't think Joe's going to say that. He's going to go out there and he's going to talk loyalty and trust and blah 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 blah, and that's going to make people roll their eyes. It's going to make a lot of this jury roll their eyes.
Yeah.
Especially since he voted 2 of them out, telling them they're his best buddy.
Yeah, honesty, this and that, blah blah blah. Right, because that's the problem.
Well,
Now that Shaheen's gone, it's obvious Joe was played. Right?
Yeah.
Played like a fiddle.
Yeah, but
Well,
if he had
It's obvious to Shaheen. It's not obvious to Joe. How would he know? He doesn't know that.
It's obvious to everybody on the jury. David can see what happened. I love that David 2 episodes was like, guys, it's Kyle and Camilla. And this episode, Joe was like, what if it's Kyle and Camilla? Like, yes, Joe. David told you many times.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think that Joe has a pretty good chance of winning. My personal preference would be for Joe to lose in a fire making challenge. Maybe even like say Kyle or Camilla wins immunity. I don't know. They force Joe and Eva to face off or something like that would be an interesting situation. But
Most hilarious outcome would be if Eva won and in her not mean intended in any way, just her totally insensitive way, be like, yes, I beat you and I beat you and I beat you and I'm the best. Like when she came back from the journey and she was like, man, I didn't even need it. I bet you would have loved to have gone, right, Mary?
yeah,
Like just pull that kind of a thing. Like, there was no, she wasn't being mean to Mary, just the like not getting the situation, not reading that room at all. I want that to be.
yeah.
I won $1 million because you all suck.
Yeah, like I like I said in the last one, I really like Eva, but it's clear to me now that she's there to experience the game, not to win the game. Like
Yeah.
she may have gone there thinking, yeah, I want to win. It would be nice. It would be great to have that kind of money. Of course, I'd like to win, but I just don't think she really has it in her to be a winning player, and that's okay. Like sometimes what really happens when you're out there you just discover, oh yeah, no, I just don't have it in me to lie, cheat, steal, and I'm lucky that I'm being dragged to the end like that.
I don't know. I think there's a good player in Eva, but I think she latched onto Joe early on, and she luckily got into an alliance, and the game happened to build in a way that trust and loyalty were a big theme. When those are her biggest vulnerabilities and blindnesses as a player,
Yeah.
like she really lucked into this situation where she could just kind of get carried along. I don't know how many tribals in a row she didn't even necessarily have to think very much about what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Not in that not in the way that like she's a goat or she's just being told how to vote, but like
Right.
it was so many tribals in a row. Like we have a strong 6 and there's only 9 people. Like fuck these other jackasses.
Well, additionally, though, we've seen her in this episode and in previous episodes. She and Joe are having actual conversations where she gives input on who she thinks should be voted, or, he's saying, I think it should be this, but I'm concerned about that. And she will say she is able to carry her weight and say, well, you don't need to worry about that because we have these advantages and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, like she is carrying her weight in that alliance. She's not being dragged as she is a goat, unfortunately, a sacrificial goat, whatever. But she's not being, when I say dragged, I don't mean it in the sense of she doesn't deserve to be in the game and he's bringing her because she's a bad player, blah, blah, blah. He's bringing her because he likes her and she is helpful to him, and he's not going to just throw her away because whatever. Like the people that he has voted out that were his allies, he thought were plotting to betray him, And yeah, he's been worked twice in that regard, but that's because he's a little bit of a lunkhead, not 100%, and he has some real cool personality to him sometimes. Like he says some funny stuff, especially in confessional, but like he's got an understated wit about him. But he's kind of trusting, and so they tell him, yeah, he has an idol. And it's like, well, I don't know who to trust. It's like, well, I mean, trust the guy that you've been with this whole time. But nah,
Yeah.
he can be persuaded. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, he went and checked the story, but he checked it with the other person who was in on it. That's the trick.
And well, I mean, he had to trust, verify, and I really liked that. I thought that was a good touch, where it's like, all right, look, yeah, I've been told this story by Kyle. Let me go check out with her, see what she says, and if they match up, we're good. But this is why I say he's a bit of a lunkhead, because he did it really poorly. Like, he primed her. Like, let's assume that they weren't in cahoots, right? That they were telling the truth. He was basically telling her, this is what Kyle said. Is that true? And she said, yes. And it's like, okay, cool. If you really want to know if someone's lying or not, you just ask them, hey, I heard something about this. What do you have to tell me? And then the information they give you, you see if it matches up, right? Like
Eva did that to Star earlier this season.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, that, So, I mean, like, there are some lunkhead qualities. And also, I completely understand going dad mode on Shaheen, like, but you gotta realize he's a 30-year-old man. He's not one of your kids. You can't treat him like what you're doing, going to him and giving him the opportunity to tell you the truth or to lie or whatever. That's very smart. But like treating him like he's one of your kids and being like, now I know you've got it, and I know you're lying to me, so you got to prove to me that you're telling the truth. It's like, no, a real adult's going to be like, I don't like that.
I mean, it's a tricky conversation to have, because when you're as close as Joe and Shaheen are, right, like, you can't just go and be like, so Shaheen, I heard you had an idol. What do you got to say for yourself, right?
Because, well, let's role play it out. Who do you want to be?
Pretty much what he did.
I know, but that's the problem, right? It's a tricky conversation to have, because if you come out with it, right, like, the immediate reaction from Shaheen is going to be like, I thought we were number ones. Why are you trusting Camilla more than me? Right? I told you what the plan was. I told you what I'm going to do. I've been open and honest with you. Like, why would you even entertain this thought from Camilla? Right? That's a gut reaction.
Because as you're saying that, I'm remembering a couple of things that happened a few episodes ago. Remember when they had to pair up, and he immediately was like, oh, I want to work with Camilla. And Shaheen was like, kind of, I forget how much of it was during confessional or other voiceover, and how much of it was around people where he was saying like, yeah, I think I can work with Camilla. I can do some things and bring her into this alliance and use her as a number, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So if you're Joe and you've seen him do that, you might go like, yeah, I don't know if I can really trust him as far as it goes with Camilla. Whereas Kyle, we have this bond and he hasn't lied to me yet, even though, we as omniscient viewers, we know that he has been lied to several times. So I can kind of see it. And again, it's being a little too trusting, and it's, people create the narrative that they want to see. Like, he wants to get rid of Shaheen, and so it's easier for him to believe, he's in danger. But yeah, I don't know.
So Brian, is this your favorite episode of the season? We got the letters from home, and we got the touching DV story from Joe at the beach.
Yeah, I have no idea what he said.
Yeah,
I think I liked it. I thought it was a little bit emotionally manipulative. Like, I guarantee you, they were like, "Hey Joe, why don't you go out to the beach and just say goodbye to your sister or something like that?" And I'm like, I'm glad he got to do that, and that meant something to him. But also, that felt a little manufactured in a way that made me feel like,
I mean, I don't know if I want to say manufactured, but
oh, sorry, I don't mean to say like Joe was being inauthentic. Like, I think he really felt what he felt.
You're just saying production encouraged him to maybe have a moment with her. I I don't know. I don't feel that necessarily, but like, I feel like that should have been a private moment. And
Yeah,
I understand
yeah,
like it's good, rich, emotional storytelling, but like, we had the conversation earlier tonight about like characters versus people, and I feel like this is something they should have let him do as a person and
yeah,
not as a character. Because if you are there trying to have this moment with your past, with your sister who's passed away, like I don't care how comfortable you are with the cameras. I don't feel like you can have a fully authentic moment with yourself like that with a camera like in your fucking face. You
yeah.
know?
I will say, like, I'm pretty sure if you said, "Hey, I don't want to, you guys filming this," or you know what I mean, that sort of thing, like they
Yeah,
probably would
probably.
have
Yeah.
respected that. And I feel like, and
I don't. They would.
it speaks to one of the things that I know. Like, I generally like Joe, but I could definitely see someone being like, "I don't want this," in that, like I could see him saying this. It's important to tell this story. I want to tell this story. I want people to know what happened and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I want. Even though this is going to be kind of an awkward moment, like it's going to clang a little bit for some folks. I want you to record it and put it out there. So I could see him doing that because he's like, yeah, I'm the good guy. I'm the hero. I'm the John Cena of it all. So I want to be. I want to have this moment. I could see something like that going on too, but yeah,
That
whatever.
I believe.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I did
Yeah.
like the moment when they were doing letters and Joe was handing them out and he hands one to Shaheen. It's like, hey, here, this one's empty, sorry. Here's yours, it's empty.
Yeah,
Hey, you gotta ball bust the guys a little bit. Come on.
yeah. Like that's the thing. It's like he seems like a person, a good natured person. Like not super funny. You know what I mean? But like he can take a joke and he can tell a good dad joke and that sort of thing. Like or he's talking about like, man, you guys know how many dishes I have to clean all the time at home with all these freaking kids.
Yeah.
But you know what? Right now, you know what I want more than anything else? Just a freaking plate. I'm like, yeah, I get that, right?
Yeah.
That's relatable. Like, I'm tired of eating with my hands, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
One of my other favorite moments this episode was when they're all at Sanctuary and Eva's back at camp complaining about being left at home with her parents. And it cuts to
Yeah.
Mitch and Camilla sleeping and snoring in the fucking
Yeah.
house. Like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Plus, was this one? Yeah, Camilla was snoring during the challenge. When Jeff was like, "Oh, I think she might be asleep." She's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, let me play into this a little bit." That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, she's a good player. I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad she won an immunity challenge last week. It was really close and everything, but like, just so that Joe doesn't get the Ben Dryberg thing. Like, he has been in danger. It's just people were kind of silly and they did not want. Like, hey, that's a thing that I said in the last one that both Shaheen and Kyle were like, "Who wants to bell this cat? Who wants to make the first move?" And they straight up said it here. They're like, "We both been kind of wondering," and then sure enough, it happens, and neither of them makes the move. And well, I shouldn't say that. What's his name? Kyle made a move. He just moved against Shaheen.
Yeah. Man, Brian, go.
I'm happy somebody finally did something.
Yeah.
But doing it against Shaheen was stupid and pointless. Should have fucking just voted out Eva. God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, you guys. I don't know why everyone. Look, Joe is winning, not because he's a good player, because everyone else is bad. Everyone
Yeah.
is fucking terrified of him. You know what you're supposed to do when you're terrified of a player? Vote his fucking ass out. But all of them are just like, let's not ever anger Joe. Let's do anything. Joe, let's never do anything against Joe. What the fuck? Why are you letting him win?
They can't do anything against Joe today because he had immunity.
Yeah, but
but they could have voted his lackey out.
No, you leave Eva in. She's a goat.
I actually think that at this point, if Joe's gonna actually just leave her anyway, no matter what, because she's not gonna get any votes. And if Joe is in the final three, he won't get like, and she's on there. She won't get any votes from the jury, and she won't be able to vote for him. Like, I don't buy. Oh, I'm sorry. I buy that they believe what they said, but I don't buy that it would have worked. That they're like, oh, we can't put her in Ponderosa because then she's just going to tell everyone how great Joe is. It's like, I don't think that would have changed anyone's mind.
No.
But she would be there and she would be voting for him, and then that's a vote that's not for you, and you want all the votes for yourself. So
I mean, that's ridiculous. You can't expect literally every single person to vote for you. You have to be able to give up one to move up your position in the game.
No, but you want to shoot for every single vote.
Yeah, you want every vote to be in play, because like let's say there's eight people on the jury. You don't want it to be 4-4, and you know that it would have been 5-3 if it hadn't been Eva.
This is why they should have gotten rid of both of them a long time ago.
Yeah, there was no
they can't do it now.
I mean, no,
it's literally impossible.
The problem is you have players like Shaheen and Kyle who are looking at the game from a different perspective and believe that they can beat Joe. They see Joe as somebody who's just winning his way to the end, and he's bringing Eva with him, right? But they're looking at the jury and saying, I can say I played an actual game of Survivor and didn't just win challenges and bring my number one, right? Like, I'm making moves and I did things. I got David out. I got this person out. I got Shaheen out, right? They're going to claim that they're playing actual Survivor, while Joe's the one just being the face of the season. Like, it's fine. He can be the face. He can be the one winning challenges, and then he's going to lose Final Tribal.
Yeah, but like Shaheen thought he could beat Joe. I'm like, what? You've done absolutely nothing. No. You keep making it sound like you're going to make a move against him, and then you don't do it.
No, that's Mitch. Mitch, the start of this episode.
That's
I've been waiting to make a move, and the time is now. Like, no, Mitch, your time was like 3 episodes ago, Mitch.
Yes. Everyone's time was like 3 episodes ago.
No, because there's no way. Because there's been multiple episodes now where people have come to Mitch and asked him to make a move, and he's the one who said no. And so now that it's time to make a move, and it's not happening for Mitch, like, you could see the reaction when Mitch was talking about trying to make moves or whatever, and the fucking the jury were all like rolling their eyes. Like, there is no way in which Mitch ever wins this season. No way. Not because he didn't make moves before, but I mean, not because he's not making moves now, because he had those opportunities and he did not use them, right? Because he's playing the game with Joe, and if you're Shaheen and Kyle, you say, I'm not playing the game with Joe. I'm playing Joe, and Joe is playing the game like as my face. Like, I am playing him like a fiddle, and he's winning challenges, and he's being the bull in the china shop while I'm getting things done.
Yeah. Well, is there anything anybody wants to add?
Star giving Eva the idol was completely useless.
I think if Joe gets to the end, they're going to let him win just to punish everyone else for not voting him out.
Maybe. I really do think this season depends on Final Tribal. Final Tribal? I've had another whiskey while we've been talking, unfortunately. So.
Oh my god. Next time,
I had some rum, but that was the first one.
That's why I just finished the third. I haven't started another one.
I had a Rainier with dinner, a Rainier beer.
You know how you know Eva's gonna not win a single anything because she did not play her Safety Without Power last episode, which nobody knew about, but I'm sure she'll mention. And then this episode, she has the idol that Star gave her that literally everyone knew about, and she didn't play it. Not even for shiggles. Right? Like, it makes Star's gesture completely useless, and it solidifies the fact that Eva hasn't done anything worthwhile. She didn't even think about making it. So long as we can tell, she's never even thought about making a move with that idol. She's never even thought about using it strategically to protect any person from anything.
Yeah, well, in fairness, not with the idol. I'm thinking of the safety without power advantage she had. Like, the last one she could have used it was such a lopsided affair that it didn't matter. Like, I think she would have played it on someone else if she thought that they were in trouble. But it was so obvious that it was going to be Mary that she was just like, I don't need to.
Yeah. She's never even been in a position where she needed to have strategy.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yep. Did either one of you guys vote in the Survivor 50 voting?
Oh, I forgot. I will
Do
do
that.
that.
The vote
soon.
it's a yes no. Do you want idols?
That's stupid. That really needs to have a middle one.
I know.
I'm like,
That's
sure,
my,
one or two, not
that's my
none.
thing with this voting. One of the options is like I want old school Survivor where a reliable alliance can make it to the end, and then having a reliable alliance is more important than anything else. And it's like, well, you can have idols and that still happens, right? And the other one's like, no, I like idols because it mixes up gameplay and forces players to adapt. And I 100% agree. Like, I don't want to hit yes or no because it sends a black or white message, and that's not what I believe the best way for the game is. Like, yes, I want to see idols in this game. I don't want 4 players to all have idols at once.
Right?
On the same beach, you know?
Yeah.
All right, fantasy?
Okay.
Fantasy?
Yep. We'll do
All
fantasy.
right.
That does not matter.
Yeah, we did not have any bets resolve. But Nick, you did have Shaheen in the Touchy Feely Deadpool. That was the last person in the Touchy Feely Deadpool, and last of all of our Deadpools. So that one fizzles out, does not resolve. We do have the heel turn, which we could talk about, or we can say that for next episode. That's fine too. We're going a little long here.
No, just tell me what she done did.
Mary, when her social media embargo was lifted, Mary was like, I had a horrible time on Survivor. All that stuff I said about actually enjoying running in the forest with Say was like dealing with my trauma. Like, it was horrible, and the only way I could enjoy it was by saying I enjoyed it, right? Like, kind of the only way to survive the trauma of what Say was doing to me was pretend that I liked it.
Wow.
But she's like, being removed from the situation now, I can see how terrible it was. And other people piped up and were like, yeah, I also had a terrible time on Survivor. Like, it's okay to say that, right? And Say replied to them all, being like, get out of this. This doesn't have anything to do with you. Say, like, defending herself very aggressively.
I don't know if that counts, but also it doesn't really matter because we're so out of I'm so out of contention that I don't need the point or not. But anyway, go on.
Scoring doesn't matter. Brian, you had Eva and Shaheen. You only got 1 point from Eva. You got 0 from Shaheen, so that's 1 on your 57, giving you 58. Nick, you came in with 69 points. Yeah, all you had was Camilla. Camilla survived and did nothing else. That's 1 on your 69, giving you 70. I came in the week with 115 points, and I got 9 more.
Oh my god!
Because Mitch survived 2 votes this way and survived tribal. Kyle survived tribal and 8 reward. Joe won immunity and 8 reward. And survived tribal. So that is 9 on my 150, giving me 124. So I gained 8 points this episode, which I did not need even a little bit. This is like, that's the reason I don't mind missing next episode, because for us, some of the fun is like talking about the fantasy season and, talking about winning and all this and that. It's a foregone conclusion.
But
you are
our Joe.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about that offline, off air, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be online when we do it.
Probably.
Yeah, well, but we won't. It won't be part of the episode because we're going to say goodbye right now. Goodbye. Okay, so what's the plan?
I think you guys will just record a short one. I don't know. Part of it is we'll see how exciting the episode is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys, record it, publish it that week, and then when I get back, we can talk about it again. And I think because next 49 is filming, 50 is filming already, I think.
Yeah.
So
there won't be any.
What? How 50 can't be filming already. They're still asking us to vote on it.
Oh yeah, huh? Okay, well, 49 and 50 are coming up next year, so we can talk about how the new era is going. Talk about like who your favorite winner was, what the best season has been, because best winner and favorite winner and best season are different things.
All right. Well, you put whatever questions or whatever topics you got, you just put them in a document somewhere.
Okay.
But I have a proposed new way to do one of the bets for next season.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Right.
We have the $1 million Deadpool. I think that we shouldn't be picking people to say. I think just you get points if one of your people says it.
Yeah, I said that last season at the end of the season, and I forgot to implement it at the start of this season, and so we're just going on. But I entirely agree.
I had a lot of ideas at the end of last season, and I mentioned them, but then we didn't write them down, and so they disappeared. And I think that might have been one of them.
And we're definitely not going to go back and listen to that episode.
Hey, I'm gonna win one bet next episode though. So look out, Andy.
Which one?
Hell
Pick a
yeah.
winner.
No, well, I'm gonna win.
Oh,
no,
how long
two
till
bets,
inciting new
actually.
twist?
Yeah, and Jeff Huggers maybe.
Oh yeah, you'll win Jeff Huggers probably. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got our plan then. I'm going to go to bed.
Okey
Later.
dokey.
Well, actually, that's not true. I'm not going to go to bed. I'm going to finish up that episode of Devil's Plan. And then I'll go to
Yeah.
bed. All right, later. Bye.
Bye.